Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha with Ice Cream Fitness here, and it is time for part 2 of the Monday Q&A. But hold on, let me give you guys a bicep shot first. And let's get into these questions. First question, what are the strength limits for natural athletes in the big three? I get asked this a lot, and I've never given an official answer, and here is why. This is mind-bogglingly hard to determine because just like natural bodybuilding, the drug testing in powerlifting has historically and even up to present been so piss poor that you can literally juice 364 days a year and still pass the test. Most of the guys who are going to use are going to lie about it. So the problem we run into when we start pulling natural records, or drug-free records versus enhanced records, which means they used a shitload of steroids on the day of the event usually. They are juiced to the gills usually when they go up on the platform. Not always, but most of the time the ones who are setting records are getting close. Whereas in even a guy who's doing a drug-free, he might be clean that day, so he has nothing to amp him up for the lifts, but we don't know what he used in the off-season. So it is very, very difficult for us to determine. And I've noticed that very few of them will discuss it with anything but other steroid users. Now, if you're a known steroid user, sometimes they'll talk with you if they do use, but then they don't want to talk to anyone else. If anyone else even comes close by, or another lifter or anyone's in the room, they change the subject. They won't even discuss the subject of steroids, even though they use. And then you have some who are legitimately clean, but how do you determine that? I don't know. We have no way to actually determine the natural records because so many people lie about it and the tests are so easy to cheat on that it is just very, very difficult to determine what kind of Wilks score can be achieved by someone with decent or good genetics with a decade of hard work, simply because we have no way to determine if any of them are actually drug-free or not. So neither I nor anyone else can actually give you an answer there. There is no determinable answer, and I'm sorry that that's the way it is, but that is the way it is. And we simply have no means of determining if the people are drug-free or not to even use as a benchmark, simply because they will lie convincingly and swear on their mother's grave, swear to Jesus, whatever it takes to convince other people that they're not on when they really are. And so you never know which ones really are clean and which ones really aren't. You just don't know. All you have is their word. And that's all I have for you there, guys. I'm sorry. Next question. Should I keep taking creatine during a cut? I've never understood why people ask this question. It literally makes no sense to me. Either you think creatine works or you think it doesn't. If you don't think creatine works, then obviously you shouldn't take it during a cut. But you also shouldn't be taking it the rest of the year either if you think it's garbage and it doesn't do anything, or you seem to be a non-responder, so why in the hell are you taking it? If you feel that it does help gain strength or a little bit of muscle mass, and you quit taking it when you go on a cut, you're not getting that extra advantage you had when you were bulking, so you have the potential to lose more muscle on your cut as a result of that. If it was helping you gain muscle when you were bulking and you come off of it, it will cost you additional muscle in your caloric deficit. So it is completely unreasonable to come off of it. It makes no sense if you think it actually helps you. It is dirt cheap. And so if you think it helps your performance and muscle gains, then absolutely, you should absolutely stay on it during your cut. There is no logical reason for you to think otherwise. All right, last question. Jason, your opinion on max OT training, which is strongly recommended by Jeff Willett and Skip LaCour. As I'm kind of old school, I'm very familiar with both of these individuals. Now, I don't know how else I will put this other than to say, we all know that Jeff and Skip were very, very well-known, top-ranked natural bodybuilders a number of years ago. And since they were natural bodybuilders, we know that they didn't take any drugs, right? But both of them had that distended abdomen look when they were in contest shape that you usually see from guys who were stacking insulin with growth hormone or insulin with IGF-1. They had the insulin gut, but since we know they didn't get it from using any drugs because they were natural, the only other possible explanations is that something with their training or their nutrition caused it. And therefore, the only logical and reasonable explanation or advice I could give you on any training or nutrition they use is you should probably avoid it, because something that they were doing was causing them to get that distended insulin gut besides drugs. So I would be very, very careful about using any of their methods unless you want to have that distended insulin gut. So if both of them used it, then we have some possible evidence of a link of a training system giving people insulin gut. And incidentally, I've noticed that a lot of the guys who've gotten big on Max OT have all sorts of problems like that, things that would normally be associated with steroid use, but who claim that they're clean and natural. So there's something weird going on with this program that I can't explain. I personally don't necessarily recommend the program. I don't think it's very good for natural lifters as far as the way it's written, and clearly it is giving steroid and insulin and drug side effects to the people who are on the program. So I would be very, very careful of that, guys. Alright guys, that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it has been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.